What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? You're on an episode of Chiefs Focus Live with JP, Caleb, and Quentin. What's up, guys?
Doing pretty good. How are you guys doing?
Not bad. Not bad at all.
We've got a fun show planned. We've got a nice little idea we're going to try out here in regards to DeAndre Hopkins. So we think I think you guys will enjoy that.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Got a little bit to talk about. A little OTA action. A little bit of drama within the Raiders.
Oh my god, dude!
Oh, we're bringing it up. We're gonna bring it up.
I know. I just can't. I can't with the Raiders. They're so
dysfunctional.
Can we just jump into that? Because I've just got a whole.
Go ahead, Quinn. Do your heart out.
Yeah.
Take the
we're
floor.
gonna have to do that. We're gonna have to dive into this.
Oh god. Okay.
What's up, Joe?
If for some reason you live under a rock and don't know what's happening, first of all, hello, Patrick Starr. Second, what happened is that Jimmy Garoppolo has a foot injury that had him to where he has not passed a physical.
Yeah, it's a broken foot.
He didn't elect to have surgery in December last year, which is fine. That's their choice. And then he elected to have the surgery when he signed with the Raiders. Despite having that surgery, he still failed a physical. Now, I don't know if you guys remember when Jimmy Garoppolo was supposed to come out in front of the media when he signed with the Raiders, and then he delayed it a day.
Yes, he did.
Now, I don't know this for sure, but I'm very positive that I think the reason that was delayed was because that's when the Raiders needed to renegotiate that contract to enter the clause into it about him. If he does not pass a physical before the start of the season, he can be cut and he will not make a dime off the Raiders.
That's part of it. Yeah. That was what we talked about on the show originally, was that there was a contract negotiation issue. Yeah. That's what my guy here told me. So
yeah, I just think that we're now getting the details of that coming out. Okay, we've got the groundwork. And let me just say my thing. The Raiders, I don't know if you know this, the Raiders had a franchise quarterback before they signed Jimmy Garoppolo. It's so stupid that they had Derek Carr, objectively a better quarterback than Jimmy Garoppolo, on the very fact that his foot works, and he's also just over his career been able to stay on the field more than Jimmy Garoppolo has. Personally, I think Derek Carr is a better quarterback in terms of his play than Jimmy Garoppolo, especially when Derek Carr is in a scheme where he is forced to throw the ball down the field, something that Jimmy Garoppolo over his career does not do. I cannot believe, I should believe it because it's the freaking Raiders. And so, of course, they're going to put themselves in a position where there's a real chance. I don't even know who's their backup, like Brian Hoyer.
It's it's that one guy who did really well for them in that week.
No, Stidham's on the Broncos now.
Oh, he is.
Yeah, Stidham went to the Broncos. No, it's
I have no idea.
Rookie.
It's someone
they got that rookie as well. So, so they got that rookie that they got out of the draft.
Yeah,
but go ahead, Quentin. Go ahead, and I'm going to let you finish this. And I got a little spiel about this.
Yeah. Okay. Brian Hoyer is their official backup quarterback. I just can't. I can't believe that they put themselves in this position. It is irresponsible. This is another breakup of an AFC West team done by, this head coaching staff. It's so ridiculous, and I can't believe it's happening. Then on the other hand, it's the Raiders. So can we really expect something else?
No. Caleb, do you want me to go with this?
Go ahead. I'll say my piece for the end. Go ahead, JP.
You go ahead and say your piece, and then I'm going to spit out what I got to spit out.
Like Quentin says, the Raiders, nothing has surprised me one bit at all whatsoever. What we've seen over time is the Raiders have been dysfunctional. You all remember the 3rd and 48 game? 3rd and 48? You all remember that? The Raiders. Jamarcus Russell, the Raiders. All the draft picks they got in the last 10 years, the Raiders. That's all you know. Their owner with that haircut, the Raiders.
The Tuck rule? Or is that
the Tuck rule? Everything. They have not I am 24, and the Raiders have not done anything since I was 4 years old. They have been irrelevant. You think teams have some peaks and valleys to win the division? No. The Chargers have slapped them around. The Broncos have slapped them around. The Chiefs have slapped them around. and the Raiders just have not done anything. It just shows us some people should not own a team or have power in a team. But regardless what we see with the system, everything that's in place, individuals will have the opportunity and they will continue to fail. But you know what? I'm not complaining because it makes stuff easier for Patrick Mahomes. It makes everything a lot easier. And because of that, I get to see them whoop up on the Raiders again. Now, will the Raiders get a win against the Chiefs every other year? Yeah, that's going to happen. But for the most part, the Raiders haven't even sniffed a division title. They have not even sniffed the division title. The closest they got to, I think, was 2015.
They lost that playoff game.
Yeah, 2015. Derek Carr was throwing amazing numbers. He ends up breaking his leg. But the whole narrative that season was, the Raiders can go to the Super Bowl. Well, hello, they have not beaten the Chiefs, and they still haven't really beat the Chiefs. So to Raider Nation and to all you guys out there, good luck for another year because I'm going to be enjoying my Chiefs, beating you guys again and laughing at this function you guys have. Take some notes for Clark Hunt. Go to one of his seminars. Do something. But at the end of the day, you guys need some help.
What's worse than a fire of garbage? I don't know, but that's what
that would be rolling down the street towards a church.
I'm about to say
that would be
fire
like
garbage
worse.
Going down the street on flood.
Yeah, that'd be the worst thing. Flood of gasoline.
It's like when the Ohio River caught on fire. That's
exactly. Yeah, I mean that's basically what you have there. Okay, so let's talk about this. I'm going to bring this up because I can. One of our guys called me one night and he said, I'm going to throw something by you and tell me what you think. And I said, okay. He says, what do you think if Brady plays this year? And I said, I never really thought about it. And then I started thinking about it that night. So I started putting everything together. You got Brady that bought into the Raiders. There's no love lost between him and Jimmy Garoppolo. Him and Josh McDaniels are buddies. Danny Amendola, the GM. Everybody's connected to Brady in some aspect or another. Then add in the fact that he wants to be Michael Jordan. It's almost like too many things align for this not to happen. So I called a guy here that I know that used to play for the Raiders. Now he's a analyst, I guess if you want to call him that. And I asked him, I said, tell me the truth. Don't friggin' lie to me. Just be honest. I said, is this jackass going to play this year? He goes, probably. His words. I said, probably doesn't cut it, bro. I don't want to hear probably. I don't want to hear maybe. I don't want to hear that. Just tell me whether is this even in the cards? Is this something that was pre-planned? What's the deal? I said, because to be honest with you, I feel like a friggin' idiot at the fact that I never even thought about this before. And then it gets brought to my attention, and then I think about it, and I'm calling you to ask you this question. He says, probably. I said, fuck off, dude. Come on, just tell me the truth. I said, what is it going to be? I said, is it like he's going to announce it, during training camp to kill everything, week 1? Is he going to start the season? Is he going to just throw on his suit and start at week 4 or something if Garoppolo falls apart or if he can't play, which it sounds like he can't because Garoppolo has a bad foot, broken foot, had surgery. It's not doing well. To Quentin's point, he is not passing a physical. So tell me what this is going to entail. He says, well, you're not wrong on any point. He says, I'm not going to say either way. He said, but don't be surprised if you don't see Brady wearing a Raiders uniform this year. So I asked a couple of other people. I actually brought it up to Adam Rank that was on our show last week. And his exact words were, well, what were his exact words? I can tell you his exact words because he thought it was comical and true. He said, haha, it's going to happen, isn't it? Oh, man, it's too perfect.
Yeah, it is.
So
I mean, what's the point of retiring? Oh, go ahead, Chippy.
Well, I'm just saying, he said, I told him, I said, I swear when I talked to that guy, I was like, man, I'm stupid. I didn't even think about that. It's just too perfect. I said, and just so you know, the guy's affiliated with the Raiders very closely. He put, ha, it's McDaniel's buddy. Of course it's happening.
Okay. Well,
And then all of a sudden, the addendum comes out about Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, I also understand with this addendum that if he goes through the season, say he's at week 4 or 5, and he can't play, he breaks his foot, he's not performing, something injury prone happens to him, they can actually not pay him from that point on. That's in his contract. So if you're looking at this from a Brady standpoint, absolutely it's going to happen because he is a narcissistic, egotistical jerk off that can't walk away from the game. Everything points to him playing for the Raiders. Everything does. And the fact that they can use the excuse, well, we wanted him to teach the rookie. We wanted him to mentor the rookie.
Brady don't mentor anyone. He didn't even mentor Garoppolo.
No, he didn't. He does not like. Well, that's because he felt threatened.
Well, be honest with you, Garoppolo probably did some good stuff. I don't know if he would have been Brady.
I believe he would have too.
He would have got some good things. I think when we look at this at the end of the day, if he joins, oh great. I mean, if he unretires, oh goody goody. I mean, I'm not worried. But it is kind of interesting to see this happen now for a third time. If this happens, he retired twice, and comes out of retirement. I mean, look, if he does, it is what it is. But I just kind of find it interesting that he cannot let it go. But it doesn't surprise me. You would think with being considered the GOAT and all the different things he could go off in the sunset. But like the guys are saying, it's a perfect situation. It's available for him. As Philip basically said, no one wants him. It's basically drama. It's a drama king. So when we look at all these different things that are happening with Brady, nothing surprises me. But it just kind of shows at the end of the day, the old era we can't get away from. I like the new era of football we're in. All the new players. No more Big Ben. No more all those guys. And now we're like, he's still there. So I don't know. I mean, if it happens, oh well. But at this point, it is what it is. I'm not worried. And I think if he goes to the Raiders, I don't see them beating the Chiefs. I'm just going to be honest with you.
No.
They're going to have to overhaul some stuff.
I feel like if he does this, I'm just saying, he is going to really diminish anything that he ever accomplished just simply because he is not in a garbage division.
Does he really think he could win a Super Bowl?
I don't know. I don't know.
Or he just wants to play one last time?
I think he just wants to play.
Well, Chris Jones is going to have a word for him 2 times a year. So.
Oh, hell yeah. But he's so egotistical and he's so just, I don't know, man. If he's going to destroy anything that he ever thought was a legacy if he does this, simply because he is not in a division that's weak. He went from one bad division. When it got good, he left.
Well, then they'll say, oh, well, it's because he's older. Well, no one told him to get out of retirement.
Then that's his fault that he came back. But the point is that he's going to destroy his own. Not that he's got. A lot of people have the same feeling, that he's cheated his way through. He was, carried a lot. So he's not going to get that luxury with the Raiders because you're in a different division. You're in a division with Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert. I mean, even though they don't have a great coaching staff, it's still a tough football team to beat within your division. We found that out. So this is just, to me, it's pretty insane to think that he would even consider it. But it is Tom Brady, and he wants to be Michael Jordan. He wants to be the guy. Look, Michael Jordan came back. He didn't come back, as the old Michael Jordan. He came back and he played well, but he wasn't the Michael Jordan that everybody knew. He was the selfish guy that everybody knew, but he wasn't.
It depends on who you ask, because a lot of people
I guess that's true too.
And some people say the same thing for Brady. I don't know if you agree with me, Quentin.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
but
absolutely.
A lot of people are saying, "Oh, he's just competitive." Okay, that's fine. I mean, if you're saying that Brady's competitive, don't get mad when Antonio Brown did the same thing. No, he's a little crazy, but when you have guys breaking tablets, I mean, that's not really that's not. I haven't seen Mahomes break a tablet. The most I've seen him do is cuss out guys on the sideline as motivation. Now he may have. I don't know if he's broken something behind the team, but he's a team guy, and Brady's all about I. And Mahomes is like team. And that's where I believe they're kind of similar because they're both not taking as much money. They're letting the team grow. Let's get the championships. But regardless, it's neither here nor there. They're going
Well,
to
I
struggle.
wanted to bring it up just simply because it's, it actually can happen.
Oh,
For
I wouldn't
anybody
be
that says it
surprised.
can't happen, they're wrong because it can happen. So don't be surprised if you don't see him suit up. I kind
Do
of
the
like what Philip
Buccaneers
said.
technically have the rights, or was he technically a free agent?
What's that?
Just do the Buccaneers technically
No,
have?
because he had
No.
his final year was a player option.
Gotcha. Okay, gotcha.
So-
Actually,
so-
all of his years were player options. There were 1-year deals. He could retire at any point and still be okay. But
Yeah, it's
Um,
look, the Raiders haven't been the last time they won their division was 20 years ago. There are
2002.
there are two teams that have longer winning droughts from winning their division title. It is the Lions and the Browns. So
Yep.
that's where you're at. You're on the same level as the Browns, Lions, Jets. That's where you're at. And look, you're a bad organization,
Bottom
and
feeder.
it's because you continue to make decisions like this where you don't seem to think out, the moves you're going to make at important positions. And, when you have something working for you, it's never enough. And then you move back to square one. Look, stability in all sports is so important
Absolutely.
because seriously, every 2 years they're changing head coaches or GMs. I mean, you can't build a philosophy, a culture, a team while you're constantly changing who's in charge of it. And if you're an owner and you're bad at selecting the GM/head coach, then maybe you should hire somebody who's better at it, and then
A president.
stop being involved in
Yeah.
that decision making. Realize
Absolutely.
that you're bad, and have somebody else do it.
Why do we have Mark Donovan? I mean,
Yeah,
there's a reason why we have Mark Donovan.
It's
So-
just crazy. I also think anybody who thinks Tom Brady is putting on a football uniform again is crazy.
Well,
So you're crazy.
okay. Well, I may be crazy, but if it happens, I will not let you live this down.
That's fine. I mean, but it's not happening.
Okay.
So,
Everybody that's on this show and everybody
Well-
that listens to it after the show's over, you heard Quentin. He said it's not happening.
it's not happening. So you're
We'll
welcome.
see what happens.
NFL
I like Philip's
Insider
comment.
Quentin Morris, not
Yeah.
happening, bro.
Hey, here we go. Philip's comment. He says that somewhere Al Davis is asking God right now, why does my son hate me so much? It's actually comical, but you're assuming that Al Davis is somewhere talking to God, because Al Davis was no saint. Now,
Well, a lot of
That's-
owners probably have skeletons in their closet, including the players.
absolutely. Al Davis was a scumbag, but he was a smart scumbag to where his son is just downright stupid. I'm sorry, but he's just an ignorant individual that is living off his daddy's legacy and money, and that's just how it is. But and he can't. I mean, look, Supercuts is better than anybody he's got coming to his house. I mean, Jesus Lord, what happened? Why? I don't even think that's real.
The hair.
Now that I think about it, he's never changed that haircut.
Well,
So you're telling me right now that I think that shit's glued in. I think it's a rug. It's just a very ugly
it's
rug.
his choice.
Ugly rug.
It's his
What's
choice.
up, Chiefs Live? So anyway, if it happens, Quentin, eat crow. If it doesn't, I'll eat crow. It is what it is. I'm just saying, don't be surprised if he doesn't throw on a uniform
God,
and end up playing for the Chiefs or for the Raiders. So if he does and he gets his ass handed to him, I couldn't be any more happier than that. Would just like solidify my year. But regardless, moving on. Let's get to this DeAndre Hopkins situation. Let's talk about it for a second. How do you want to do this, Quentin?
Well,
How do you want to do it?
So before the show, we were talking about it. We're going to do a snake style draft. And that is, we figure, do you guys want to go with our original order? Caleb, you go first. JP, you go second. And I will go third. So
Yes.
Caleb will have the first pick. JP will have the second. I'll have the third and fourth. And we'll do that 2 times. And we're just going to talk about, where we think he'll end up. and we'll just talk about where we think he's going to go. I mean, it's a big free agent. You know, he's by far the best wide receiver on the free agent market, even though he's not available until now. Now, I'm surprised that he hasn't been cut post June 1.
Yeah, I was surprised too.
Can I say something really quick?
Go ahead.
I don't mean to interrupt you. He technically was not cut.
That's true.
Yet. Because there may still be a little bit of a trade scenario somewhere. So we have to keep that into consideration when we're going through this.
Okay.
So, go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, this might be one of they announced it, but if you look at the transactions, technically there hasn't been a transaction yet. So it might still happen post June 1. And the reason why you would do it after June 1st, so really Friday or beyond, is because you can split up his cap hit over 2 seasons instead of 1. That's the reason why you would do it. You would cut his cap hit in half and take half of it for the 2023 season and the other half in the 2024 season. I think this is a really interesting place where he could end up. I think he could take a mediocre team and have them, especially if he goes to the NFC. I think he could really turn a team around. But you know, we'll get into that a little bit more, you know, when we talk about teams. So, Caleb, would you like to have the honors of the number 1 overall pick in the first and only DeAndre Hopkins draft?
Yes. With the first pick in the DeAndre Hopkins draft, he will be going to the Browns. Ooh. Now, you guys be like, why the Browns? Don't be laughing at me, JP. I will do my flicker 5 miles and come over and take the half. The reason why I see the Browns is this. Do they have a lot of cap money? No. And is it a system where it can be quote-unquote organized? No. But here's what they have. If the Browns get hot, they already have a number 1 wide receiver in Amari Cooper. They already got Nick Chubb, and they got Njoku, and they have other weapons. If they add him to that offense is going to be lethal, and they may be able to rival and challenge a team. Now, you guys may be like, well, why the Browns? Because they're a wild card. When you look at the end of the day, the reason why I think the Browns could take us because, number 1, they would be the team that would just throw all the money at him and be like, forget it, worry about that problem next year. Their goal is to, number 1, outscore the Chiefs if they get to that point. I know there's been some issues with Deshaun Watson. We've all been through that hurdle for the last 2 years. The rust looks like it got kicked off. So I think what's going to happen now is so we'll see what happens now. If that has the opportunity and things happen for him, it's going to work out there. Now, I see Joe said he's brain dead. Well, I will tell you this, Joe. If he offered him a lot of money, you won't be calling him brain dead. And the reason why I'm saying is because the Browns would be that team. They would be that team to throw a bag. They would be that team. That's just my opinion.
I would agree with that.
Yeah,
I would actually agree with that.
That's a good one. I don't know.
You guys laughed at me. That's okay.
Friendship.
Well, anytime somebody says the Browns, I laugh. It's not anything had to do with you. It's just the Browns in general.
Yeah,
the team makes me laugh. It's just because they've never done anything, and when they had their franchise quarterback, they didn't do anything with him either. So it just makes me laugh when the name comes up. It's kind of like when you say
3 seasons since they have a division title. So
yeah, so that's all.
No, that's an interesting pick. I would wonder if the relationship between him and Watson is still there. Mm-hmm. I think you're right by calling the Browns a wild card because I still don't. You could convince me that Deshaun Watson is a top 10 quarterback, and you could convince me that he's a bottom 10 quarterback. I don't know where he is because he looked bad last year, and he actually played worse as the season went on after missing games. So it's you could convince me that he's washed or that he'll have a turnaround. Mm-hmm. So getting another number 1 wide receiver there, they already have Amari Cooper who has proven in 3 different spots now that he's the guy.
Yep.
Yeah. So no, I think that's a good pick. That's a good number 1 pick.
It's not a bad pick at all. Okay, so my number 1 overall pick, and probably is going to be a very unpopular pick. I'm going to go with the Jets. I've been saying this for a while now, and this is my reasoning. If anybody remembers, Aaron Rodgers was dictating players that he wanted to go to that team before he was even signed. Okay? He wanted then when the DeAndre Hopkins trade scenario came up from Arizona, he wanted them to trade for him. It just didn't work out. They didn't actually have the capital, especially for what they were asking for at the beginning. So if anyone thinks for a second that Aaron Rodgers wouldn't say, okay, well, give him $15 million a year, take it out of my salary, he would do it in a minute because he wants to win. He wants to prove everybody wrong, all the doubters wrong. So if he can bring in a D-Hop at a decent, I don't even think it matters what he pays him. I think he would do it in a second. That's my opinion. And they're right there. They got a decent defense. I think they're going to win their division.
Okay.
So that's my hot take on the Jets. So
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that receiver room is so full, especially after bringing in other guys. And so I know, you can try and find money in the salary cap and all of that. I just don't know. Because there's some other teams that I don't know if you guys will pick or not. That my pushback would be, I'm just not so sure that there's a ton of room left in the wide receiver, room for a guy like him.
I agree with you there, but I think that they'd make room.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just
that could work.
Yeah.
So we ready for round 2?
Well, I got to make my.
Oh, my bad, man. I'm sorry, I forgot.
Okay, I can't believe none of you guys picked Buffalo. The Buffalo was not going to be my pick, but I feel like we have to put it in the first round. So I'm going to go with Buffalo. I do think that, look, we talked about this all last year. Josh Allen is too much on his plate. There was more than halfway through the season, he was in charge of more than 80% of their offensive production, which includes his rushing yards. If Stephon Diggs goes down, what do they have? If Stephon Diggs has a bad game, they don't have anything. So they need another wide receiver if they're going to be in the hunt. We know that it feels like the window of their supremacy is starting to close, like you brought up with the Jets, JP, where they've got better. That division is hard, and you need to start loading up. And even out of the division, obviously you have to deal with the real powerhouses of the AFC, which is Kansas City and close on by the Bengals. So I think Buffalo will take a real good swing at it. We know they tried to trade for him, so we already know there's interest there. I can't believe none of you guys picked Buffalo.
I'll tell you why I didn't pick Buffalo, and then Caleb can say what he wants. I am going to tell you now that is Stephon Diggs has got an ego the size of the moon. And I don't believe he is going to be very happy giving up snaps to another very good wide receiver, if not a better wide receiver than he is.
I was going to say the same thing. I agree with you there. I don't see how they're going to work.
It's kind of like how the Cleveland Browns did with John Dorsey, bringing all those egos into one room. It's just an explosion waiting to happen. But then there's the other thing.
I would say winning cures all.
Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily happen at the beginning of the season. But the other issue too is that there's a lot of talk from people I know in Buffalo about the dysfunction that's going on between McDermott and the team not trusting him as much, and actually Josh Allen and the team not trusting him as much because, as you pointed out, yes, he was responsible for 80% of the team's offensive snaps last year or production, but he was also responsible for 32 fumbles, interceptions, or pick sixes.
Yeah, his turnover rate in the goal line was crazy. I mean, it was his fumbles, his interceptions, which I don't think anybody has talked about enough.
Nope.
His interceptions in the red zone was just astronomical last year.
And he makes very poor decisions when he's under the gun. And I don't think bringing in another wide receiver is going to fix that problem. That is a mental issue with him because he wants so badly to be so great.
But we've seen Buffalo make choices like this, like them going out and getting Von Miller, where you're going and you're trying to go out. So, all right. So, JP, the pick now goes back to you. Where do you think it?
Jacksonville.
Damn it! Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait. It's a draft. I get two in a row. Fuck you. I'm making Jacksonville.
Oh wow, jeez. Okay, you sold the pick. Okay.
All right, it's still yours. I'll let you have it, but I'm just
picking Jacksonville because, man, I really took away I thought that was going to be like a hot take. I was like, ooh, Jacksonville. That's a good.
No.
I like
had Jacksonville in my mind for a while. So.
Because you have a young quarterback, right? So they have about $13 million in effective cap space. So they don't have to move a ton of money around if they're looking to throw a ton of cash at him. I know that they've spent a lot of resources and money in getting other wide receivers in there. You really don't know what Calvin Ridley's going to be. Look,
No.
I applauded the move when they made it because Calvin Ridley, before he got suspended, was really coming on as a number one wide receiver. But the suspension goes, for a whole year. You don't know what a guy is able to come back from after missing football for a year, even though he's not off an injury. Being out of football, even though you're staying in shape, there's a reason we call football shape. So being out of football for a year, coming into a new system, we aren't 100% sure he's going to be the wide receiver he used to be. And I do think that there is that, getting a young quarterback more and more weapons is the way to go. When you have a guy on a rookie contract, we could go through the list of teams that over the past 5 years have done nothing but, hey, I've got a rookie quarterback. I'm throwing everything I can at the offense, and we'll see what happens. The Chiefs did it when they brought in Sammy Watkins. Yep. The Bengals did it when they drafted Jamar Chase instead of drafting a left tackle. I mean, there are countless. The Eagles did it this last year when they traded for another number one wide receiver. This is sort of the success, and it's going through and just building your offense and getting as many weapons as you can before you have to end up paying your quarterback. And it also will just help to see is, what is my quarterback truly capable of? And Trevor Lawrence is getting better, but we need to see what he's truly capable of. And so I do think Jacksonville is a great spot for him to go. You want to make Jacksonville scary? Put him in that piece of crap division where they'll mull over everybody and give them a true number one wide receiver.
That's fair.
Absolutely. I agree. Everything you just said is absolutely the reasons why I've had Jacksonville on my mind for a while. So, I can't take it away because I've already said it. It is what it is. I think they got a great head coach. They got a good quarterback that's up and coming. I think they need the weapons to help him out. And I still think they're going to win their division again. And actually, my hot take, I think a few weeks ago is that it might be Jacksonville and Kansas City in the AFC Championship game. But you add D-Hop to that mix, and it will be. Really quick, let's go. Let's talk about something really quick. Our sponsor, Manscaped. Has anybody heard of Manscaped? I know you guys have. I've heard of them now. If for any reason you look like this when you're changing your clothes, you really should consider going to manscaped.com using the promo code CheeseFocus. We are a proponent of this entire system just because they sent it to us. We didn't use it. We didn't know what it was. I'm not going to make a big deal out of making a commercial and going through all of this stuff. I'm going to speak from what I know. And they sent us a kit. The kit's amazing, does amazing things. It's not just for your nuts. It's for everything. They got beard kits. They got shampoo, body soap, conditioner, razor blades, a complete beard kit. And then, of course, they've got everything, to clean up your lower half. So if you'd like to make your wife happy, if you'd like to feel better about yourself, and if you really don't want the stinky ball syndrome, because they do have ball deodorant, go on manscaped.com, use the promo code CheeseFocus, get 20% off your order. You don't have to buy everything. You just have to buy something. And I'm telling you, you'll be happy. They have everything you need. Everything you need. You see all this stuff? Everything that's blinking on this screen, that's what they have. Plus more. If you go on and you decide that you're going to purchase something, I will enter you in a contest to win the 4.0 kit. Now, this thing is amazing. It comes with ball spritzer, ball deodorant, a nose trimmer that will trim everything and you don't even know what happens. You got your razor blade, an awesome Manscaped t-shirt that says your balls will thank you for it. And you get one of the most comfortable pair of underwear you'll ever wear in your life. DM us your receipt on Twitter, no matter what you buy, and you'll be entered into the contest. With that being said, let's move forward. Caleb, I guess it's up to you because I already picked my second team.
So you guys can both just share the pick. You can do halftime between the teams. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
Well, I
If
mean,
you know-
he threw it at me, and I said, I mean, I guess I could. Do you want me
No.
to do? I
No,
can
it's
go to
fine. I got
another
my
team.
pick. I don't want someone to. I don't.
You don't want
someone
nobody
to-
stealing.
I don't
I
want no one to
understand.
steal it. That's the main thing. I don't
Yeah, I
want like
get it.
Quentin
I
to
get
jump in front of me again.
I understand.
Now this pick is a little controversial. This is an NFC team. No one's really talking about. The team I'm going to say is this. It is the Lions. Now you may be like, Caleb, why did you say the Lions? The Lions are an up-and-coming team. They got a lot of pieces. They really don't have a true wide receiver number one. He had opportunity to make some money. He has an opportunity to help this team get to a different spot. Now, some would say the Eagles. Joe, I don't care, Joe. You've been a long time listening. Don't be like that.
Now Joe said bingo.
Eh,
He's got you on that one. He said
so
in
what?
C team earlier, so now he's agreeing with you.
Yeah.
I think it was the Browns thing that threw him off.
That's okay.
Yeah.
When it comes to it at the end of the day, when you look at the Lions, they're in a kind of weak division. I really believe DeAndre Hopkins could help them jump the playing field. They already have some pieces there. But if they can have someone like DeAndre Hopkins that could really help them, I think the best they could get to is probably divisional round. I mean, it's a tough task to get through a team like the Eagles or the 49ers. I mean, you could also make the argument for another team, which hopefully is there later. But I think that the Lions have a good chance because they can throw money at him and he has the opportunity to do something in the next 3 years. They're only going up and up and up. And they just drafted another quarterback named Hendon Hooker, who was a part of the spread offense of Tennessee and just destroy teams. So I think if D-Hop can have another 3 or 4 years of production left, and he can do it with someone like the Lions, I think they can do really, really well. So that's my pick.
That's a good pick.
Well,
That's
and-
a good pick.
You know, their number one wide receiver is suspended because
That's
of
true,
the
yes.
first 6 games. So they have for the first almost half of the season, they have a real big need there. I do like the Lions. That's another good pick. That was going to be a team. That was going to be the other team I was going to go with if one of you had picked Buffalo. I think it's interesting though that none of us picked the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that just
I
shows
didn't,
that I honestly just don't see him coming to Kansas City. I don't think the money is there. Yes, Kansas City could find the cap space by reworking the Chris Jones contract, and I just don't think it's there. And I know Kansas City had an interest before the draft, but you go out and you draft another second-round wide receiver, and I'm just trying to find, snaps for him, especially, with certain parts of the Chiefs Kingdom being very interested in 2 guys with the last names of Ross. If Hopkins were to end up here, you can kiss them goodbye.
No, you keep one. You have to kiss both of them. You keep one, Quentin.
So I don't know. All jokes aside, I just don't see him coming to Kansas City. I think the fact that they couldn't make a trade work here, I think that they would want him to take a massive pay cut. And while I don't think that he's necessarily in it still for the money, I do think he does want to go out and have success on a team. I don't know if he's willing to take that much of a pay cut.
Okay, so who are you picking then? Because it's your turn to pick.
Well, it would actually, it would go back to you. It's a snake draft.
Oh, yeah, I guess it would. Okay, as far as Kansas City is concerned, they tried twice. They tried once prior to the draft. They tried during the draft. It didn't work out either time. Now, given the fact that he has technically not been cut yet because there's potentially a trade partner out there for him, which I have a feeling is going to be the Bills or the Lions. That's just what I think. I would have, or it could be the Raiders.
JP, no, just finish your just finish.
Had to throw it out there just to jack with you guys.
Didn't.
Just saying, it depends on if Brady decides to play or not. But I don't. If he was outright cut right now, I would either say I would probably go with New England. New England needs a wide receiver. They did absolutely nothing in the draft to help out their mediocre quarterback. Nothing. They need help in the wide receiver room, especially for that kid. If they want him, if they're setting him up for failure, leave it the way it is. They can easily pay for him and bring him in and show him a giant bag that he will take. That was another team that I had in mind that he would go to if it was about the money, because he knows he's not going to get to a Super Bowl this year, regardless. Um, and you know what? Philip has got a good point. Unless they made amends between Bill O'Brien and DeAndre Hopkins, which I don't know if they have or haven't, he may not want to go there. But if it's a trade scenario and New England is trading for him because he's technically not cut, then there's really not a whole lot he can do about it besides sit out and retire for a year. So I don't know, man. I'm gonna kind of stick with my guns there a little bit. If it's still a trade scenario, I would say probably New England.
Okay, so this is, man, if I was gonna go with one more, I'm not. There's a couple that I want to go. Like, I know there was the talk when Lamar Jackson, part of the one of the reasons he wanted to come back is rumored that he wanted OBJ or DeAndre Hopkins on the team. He wanted a true number one wide receiver. So I don't know if there's still interest there for trying to get him. I think it'd be, once again, we run into the issue of just that room is so full now with all the guys that they have. So it's hard for me to see him go there. Honestly, if I was picking a dark horse team for him to go to that I haven't heard anybody else talk about, I'm wondering if the Giants are a team that he might go to. They just signed their quarterback to an extension. If you look at their just depth chart at the wide receiver position, it's bad. And probably because half their wide receiver core ended up on the Kansas City Chiefs depth chart. But you really do need to – the Giants need to look into getting some weapons for their quarterback. You can't run an offense simply off of Saquon Barkley anymore. I just think that the Giants could be a team looking there, but I don't feel very confident about that. At this point, I am sort of just trying to grasp for another team. I think we've already got...
Joe just said that. It's a reach. He's not wrong. But I mean, hey, we're reaching at this point.
Joe's being a little critical.
Yeah, at this point, you're just trying to find other, teams. Quarterback is average. He's
absolutely average. I mean, Derek Carr's better than him and got a worse contract.
So I'm not so sure there's a lot of good teams that we think he might go to. I just don't know if there's a ton of room left in the wide receiver room. That's part of my, justification for him not coming to Kansas City. And the fact that the Chiefs have tried, and it hasn't worked out. If there's one thing we know about Brett Veach is that, there's a couple things. One, we know he's not afraid to move on. If you don't,
absolutely not.
He's not afraid to change his plans. And which falls into the other thing is he has a number. And if the number doesn't work, he'll move on. He's not going to double down, triple down. And so the fact that he tried 2 different times, and part of the reason that they weren't able to get it done is because of the contract. So I just don't think he's going to end up here. As fun as it would be here to have another dominant number one wide receiver. I've got Travis Kelce and a bunch of other guys, so I'm not worried about this. There are other teams that need him more. And if you're talking about, playoff teams like Jacksonville or, even like the Browns Caleb brought up earlier, I think they're more desperate for him and will end up overpaying for him. And when it comes down to that, I still think that he is expecting to have a decent payday. And, sort of like how the Kansas City got screwed over with the Devontae Adams new contract. I think that happened again this year with the OBJ contract, where if OBJ signed a $7 million deal, maybe it's more likely he comes to Kansas City, because I think that DeAndre Hopkins is going to want to get a contract higher than OBJ because he feels that he's better than him, which is true. But
I feel he's better than him.
Stipulation there is I think he's going to end up signing for almost what he would have made staying in Arizona last year, which was $19 million. So he's going to sign an $18 million contract.
He might. I mean, he might. And honestly, I mean, there's one other team that people haven't brought up at all, and I think they have the cap space, and they really could use a weapon simply because of who they're going to go with on quarterback, and that's the 49ers. Yeah. I mean, if you really think about it.
Oh, you don't think that Brock Purdy could do it by himself?
I mean, he went 7-0 last year with who he had, but just imagine what he would do if he had DeAndre Hopkins. I'm just saying.
And Debo.
And Debo.
And Kittle.
Yeah.
It would be really funny. It would be really funny if he went to the Packers, because
that would be funny.
If the Packers spent all of the Aaron Rodgers years not going after big
oh my God.
And then as soon as they trade Aaron Rodgers, they do have $16 million in cap space.
They
can do it.
They do.
Maybe
I and really quick,
my last answer to the Packers. That would be so funny. I think now I kind of want him to be a Packer.
That would be hilarious. I mean, they've already bulked up just for Jordan Love that they didn't do for Rodgers anyway. But so the Chiefs have the capability right now, higher than any other football team in the league, to clear with restructuring, and whether restructure, really it's actually just restructuring. Mm-hmm. This doesn't even consider roster bonus. They can clear $83 million in cap space right now.
They better do it soon.
If they want to sign somebody. Now, if they don't, what does it matter? I mean, if they can clear another, when they finish Chris Jones's deal, they'll have money sitting on the table. Mahomes, from what I understand, said if Veach decides and I decide, or if it's the decision is made that we want to bring him here, I will convert some of my money to bonus structure just to bring him here. Okay. So that now for everybody out there that says he can't, you're wrong. He absolutely can. He restructured. He didn't convert. Those are two different things. So he can actually convert some of his money to bonus structure right now, get paid right now out of Clark Hunt's pocket, and that goes into the cap. So we're all good. Travis Kelce's done it. Mahomes has done it in the past. It's not something that's unheard of. So I just don't – I've heard rumblings that if he is absolutely cut and he comes in on a rock-solid team-friendly deal and also somewhat of a player-friendly deal, the Chiefs would still be interested. I just don't see it happening with all the other teams out there that are going to throw the bag at him. Like Quentin said, he's going to probably get between, I think, $15 to $20 million a year. And if he gets a 2-year deal somewhere that has the money, a team that has the money to pay him, I don't think he really cares at this point. But, Adam Rank put out, as soon as that came out that he was being cut, he said Mahomes to D-Hop just looks different. It's just going to hit different. And I actually told him, I said, boy, you stirred up some shit with that because all of Chiefs Kingdom was already going crazy. We're in these group chats that, I mean, man, these guys have some scenarios that I just are really out there in some aspects.
They're on Twitter all day.
So they ain't got nothing better to do. I mean, they're out of school, so they're trying to find something to do. But he said, what did he say? Philip said, oh, we got D-Hop or not. And you're right, we do. I mean, look, man, we won last year with who we had. And I don't think we need him to win again. I'm just saying, we just don't need him to win again. Will it help? Well, of course. But you're also taking snaps away from guys that won a Super Bowl last year and are now a year, more groomed, more intelligent, know the playbook, more advanced. You don't want to take snaps away from those guys. And as Quentin alluded to, you just got a second-round wide receiver. Mm-hmm. Are you going to start taking snaps away from people? Yeah, for the second year in a row. So are you going to start taking snaps away from people because you brought in D-Hop? I don't think that's a good idea when you really don't need him. I mean, but that's just, who knows? We could end this show in the next 20 minutes, and the next thing you know, something's going to pop up, and it's going to say D-Hop just signed with the Chiefs on a trade.
Then we have to hop back on.
Yeah, then we have to hop back on and talk about that. So you just don't know. I just don't. Joe said, I agree, Philip, but man, oh man, if we did. And you're right. I mean, it'd be nice to have him, but I want to see exactly what Philip is saying. I want to see Tony Moore get the reps, Rice, all these guys. I want them to get the reps. I want them to prove to everybody that wasn't a freak of nature last year that they won the Super Bowl with a quarterback on one leg, and they still came out and performed. And wasn't just all about Juju. It wasn't just all about Kelsey. I mean, a lot of it was Kelsey. But, it's a team effort. A lot of guys stepped up when they needed to, and we won a Super Bowl because of it. So, and look, man, yeah, we got rid of 2 of our offensive linemen that had one good game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, honestly, when you think about it, and it was the Super Bowl, you had, one guy that was, 58% pressure rate. Another guy was 53% pressure rate. One guy gives up between 9 and 13 sacks on his own. The other guy gave up 4. But his pressure rate caused Mahomes to scramble a lot. That's why when these guys, and what's his name there, Tyler Boyd said, we took one from you. No, we gave his ass to you because, buddy, if we wanted him, we'd have kept him. You better get that shit through your head real quick because we could have kept him. We could have franchise tagged him. We could have done a lot of things. We didn't want him. There's a reason why we didn't want him. We have better players now to fill those 2 spots. Wiley was not great. He was a better version of Cam Irving to a degree.
Cam wasn't that bad. Come on,
Cam
now.
stepped on Mahomes twice when he had a bad ankle, bro.
Tackle. He's not a left tackle, but they made him play it.
Well,
Cam wasn't that bad.
he played right and left, and he played left tackle, right tackle, and he stepped on his ankle both times after his ankle was hurt. I mean, it's like he walked up and said, "Oh man, your ankle's right there. Let me step on that shit." There's a bug on you. I'm gonna kick it off.
He made up for it because every time someone pushed Mahomes, he was the first person there to start getting ready to
fight.
fight.
I will give him that.
He was the first person.
I'll give him that.
Times,
he was right there. He was defending his quarterback. I don't know where he's at now, but he sure as hell ain't here. But anyway, we got better players now. We're in a better position. I think if we have an opportunity to sign somebody that is going to benefit us, yes, we'll sign him. I just don't think it's going to be D-Hop. I mean, I could be completely wrong, but I don't think it's going to be him. He said the Royals didn't need an outfielder when we got Bo Jackson either. Just can't pass on a difference maker if you have the chance at him. That is a pretty good comparison, but Bo Jackson
was just built different, bro.
Bo Jackson was built different, brother. Believe me, talking to somebody from experience, that man was built different. It wasn't just breaking bats over his thigh. He broke them over his head. He hit 3 home runs with shattered ribs.
Ooh.
So, and I was there. I was on the field. I mean, that man was totally different than anybody else. Philip said, Mama Holmes criticized Cam Irving for let Patrick get hit. I remember her talking about it. That's true. Absolutely true.
Why he stepped on my baby's leg?
Yeah. Man, I remember who was it that fell on him? Was it Cam that fell on him? Not just the step, but he actually.
I don't think it was Cam.
Somebody just dropped on his ankle too, and I can't remember who it was now. But anyway.
Well, was it? No, never mind. I can't think of who it was.
I can't think of who it was either. But regardless, Cam was there. He was a defender of Mahomes when there was an issue, but he was also
he was at left tackle. But JP, I want you to do this. Pull up this chat from Philip. It's up a ways. He said it's either about money or a ring. I need a T-shirt made because I've been saying this for years. Either D-Hop wants another payday or he wants that Lombardi. I need to make a T-shirt. Either money or ring. That's what it's going to come down to. That's what it comes down to. Because he can easily get a deal worked out to where it's easily cheap, affordable deal for a team like the Chiefs. Look, he said he wants to go with a team that has a stable organization, good quarterback, all those different things. Do the Bills have a stable organization? Yes. Is a quarterback great? No. Eagles, I could argue maybe a little bit. It's between the Chiefs and the Eagles. The Bills can do all. Excuse me. The Bills is that basically that annoying person in the background that thinks they got everything. That's all real, but it's really just knocked off stuff that's not real. And they're like, come here. It's really between, in my opinion, the Chiefs and the Eagles. That's why I believe Jacksonville's a.
How is the Eagles going to pay for him though? They just paid AJ Brown $120 million.
They'll figure it out.
They'd have to. I mean, I know you can massage the cat, but that's a lot of massaging.
They'll figure.
I mean, that's some Deshaun Watson massaging.
But that's what I'm
saying. That's some Robert Kraft level.
But that's what I'm saying. It's the Chiefs. is that between the Chiefs and Eagles, because those are the teams you can think of that are number one, stable and have a good quarterback that can get you where you need to be. If you go either of those teams, you're at least going to at least make the divisional round or the AFC Championship game every single year. That's the chance. Buffalo, as Joe's saying, it's basically a miracle. If it happens, great. But again, it's that person in the background that's talking stuff that basically has no room in the fight. They gave Von Miller all that money.
See, the problem with Buffalo is
It's just not
Quentin
going to work.
this.
I know Buffalo fans have talked themselves to this high prestigious level. And come talk to me when you knock the Chiefs out of the playoffs. You were 13 seconds away. You couldn't do that. The following year against the Bengals, you got beat at your own place.
Bad. It wasn't just beat; it was beat bad.
You know what Buffalo is? Buffalo's like that friend.
It was barbecue.
Buffalo's like that friend that thinks that he's a smooth talker.
Yeah,
You know, is all confident when he gets to the bar. He's going over and he talks to the bar, and you know he looks good, he feels good. Orders the girl a drink and just blows it. Okay,
Yeah.
just is not able. He's not that. It blows it right there. And then even though he walks away, he goes back to the friend group and he's still feeling good about himself, despite the fact that he should not. That's who Buffalo is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say this: Buffalo doesn't have an extremely stable core organization right now. I mean, I should say the front office is somewhat stable, but I don't believe, and in fact, I'm almost 100% positive, they don't have the stability within their head coach or their quarterback right now. And unless one of those two things changes, which I have a feeling it's going to be the head coach before it is Josh Allen, I don't think they're going to get anywhere. Just from I've heard this numerous times, especially from the mates in that locker room all the time. So I just feel like they're an unstable football team. And Philip is right. His emotions allow him to make decisions. And when you do that, when your emotions get in the way, and then you add D-Hop and Diggs, it is a recipe for disaster. I agree with you, Philip. But he allows his emotions to take over his ability to play the game. And when you do that, you may be great at certain things, but you're never going to get over the hump until you grow up. And he needs to grow up. It's really what it all boils down to.
Okay. We need to turn the clock back a little bit and go back to a Philip comment made earlier in the chat because I got specifically named and I don't know how I feel about it. He says, I want to see Tony and Moore get more reps. And yes, Quentin, Rice will be an all-rookie wide receiver, especially if we don't bring in DeAndre Hopkins.
Damn, Skippy.
There have been two wide receivers in the very long tenure of the Andy Reid timeframe in the NFL that have been good as rookies. That is Deshaun Jackson and Jeremy Maclin. And even the Jeremy Maclin one isn't all that impressive. It's just the fact that he's the other outlier is the reason why I bring him up.
But they didn't have Patrick Mahomes either.
Donovan McNabb, right?
One was Donovan McNabb, and the other one was Alex Smith.
It was a Vic.
No, it was Vic. It was Vic. It was Vic, and then it was Alex Smith.
No, Jeremy Maclin started his career in Philadelphia.
No, I'm talking. Oh, that's right. He was, but he also had Alex Smith here. So I'm just saying, neither one of those guys.
The expectations here, because I'm not even sure where he sits on the depth chart right now. I'm not going to call him an all-rookie wide receiver when I can't even tell you he's what at best, and this is being generous of generous. He's the fourth target in the offense. Because you're not putting him above Kadarius Toney and MVS or Travis Kelce.
But let me ask you this: if he comes, so if he's fourth, then that puts you got Kadarius Toney, Travis Kelce's not on the wide receiver chart. So
no, but you got to include him in if you're talking about a guy being an all rookie or an all pro, you have to have the targets, and you have to include Travis Kelce in there because he's going to get an insane amount of targets.
Well, I'm just talking about depth chart. So you got Kadarius Toney as a wide receiver. You got Jeremy MVS. You've got Sky Moore, right? And then you're going to put Rice number 4. So what happens, I'm just saying, what happens if for some crazy reason he outplays Sky Moore this year and ends up moving up on the depth chart by week 5?
I have two problems with that. One, I think Richie James is going to be more involved in this offense than any of you guys seem to care about. And two, I just don't know.
Forgot about him.
I, I just don't know if we're being realistic in the fact that a rookie wide receiver is going to be that productive in an Andy Reid Chiefs offense. I just don't think it's realistic.
Joe,
Joe, you're my boy, Joe.
No, Joe.
Dang.
Let me ask you, Joe.
I
now
think when he
think
stops
about
sending
this.
Joe invites, he's not really
Hold on.
aligning with our values and beliefs anymore.
Okay, Joe, let me ask you something. Now, Tony got brought over. He had one soft injury issue when he got brought over. And actually, that really wasn't. It was tightness in a hamstring. Okay. All of his injuries during the time frame that he was with the Giants were soft tissue injuries. He had tightness in a hamstring. After that, and it was fine, he played extremely well until he tweaked his ankle, and they kept him out on purpose. It wasn't bad that he couldn't play. They just kept him out to where he was 100% for the playoffs and the Super Bowl. So why is it that everybody, and we have 10 times the medical staff that they had, why does everybody assume that he is going to be injured half the season?
I don't think it'll be half the season, but he's definitely not playing the entire year.
Oh my
He's not
God.
playing the whole
If
year.
he plays 17 games, you're going to – if he plays 17 games, you're buying me and Caleb something. I don't know what
He's
it's going to
not
be
playing
yet.
17. I say
He is
14,
pulling
13.
a hamstring. That's happening. He's pulling a hamstring. He's straining a hamstring. He's going to twist his ankle. I don't want it to happen. I would love for him to play all 17 games and, be part of the run to the Super Bowl. I just don't think that I'm going to put that on him, and which is why I think that it's important that you're able to draft, continuously draft wide receivers. But I'm just not going to put him on a guy like that. I just
Well,
don't
they got
think
him
it's fair to
slated as
see
the number
him
one
in
wide receiver right now, so he's going to be getting a lot of snaps.
Just like I don't know if you hear, I'll really piss you off with this take. I just don't I don't think Jerick McKinnon is going to be as healthy as he was.
Oh, fuck off.
Okay.
He's
Let's
in
be
great
nice,
condition.
guys.
Great condition. The man is in great condition. Come on, Quentin.
Well,
The
looks
guy had
like we'll have,
9.
JP versus Quentin this summer.
My God.
Tune in.
I'm throwing things in my room now. Do
He
you
is a
know
year
how
older.
many times that man has been doubted? And you're
That's
doubted.
fine.
You're not.
I love, you know what? I just
What's
love
your name?
giving players the opportunity to prove me wrong.
Okay, I'll go with that then. I'll go along with that one. That's a
Oh,
good one.
man.
I will go along with that one.
Joe,
Because
I hope you're
then-
agreeing with me. Joe, you got to come back. I'm vibing with you right now.
What is it?
Well,
He-
Joe's
he-
been a long time listener, so he will
He
be
has.
back.
I love
Hey,
Joe.
Jerick McKinnon was on a crazy. Was on a historic streak last year. I just don't know if once again you can depend on him to be. Now, maybe his role will be lessened this year because Isaiah Pacheco is going to be the number one back from the start. So maybe that's less of a concern because Pacheco is going to be, and maybe Pacheco improves his pass blocking. So, even some of those roles, Jerick McKinnon doesn't have to be a part of.
Man,
That's
he was
fine.
so good at that, though. He was the best blocking running back in football.
You did
last year.
good. I mean,
Man.
if he can keep that going, that'd be great. But the
Woo.
Chiefs got to find McKinnon 2.0. You never know. Quentin is Chiefs
Bruh,
focused
Phillip,
all
no,
along.
no.
Well, who's Shannon Sharp then?
Neither one of you are cool enough to be Shannon Sharp.
My God.
Well, you're not cool enough to be Skip Bayless.
I
Yeah.
don't want to be. Skip Bayless.
Put your
is the
scarf
worst.
on right now. Put your ascot on right now.
Philip,
Right now.
who is Shannon Sharp between JP and I? Who's Shannon Sharp?
Yeah, Philip. Who's Shannon Sharp
I'm
right
not
now,
gonna say
buddy?
you.
I don't know. I feel like JP's too old to be Shannon Sharp.
Me and him are the same
We're
age.
the same
man.
age.
Yeah, but he just, he's got way more swag than you do.
Well, he might. He played a lot longer.
Club Shay Shay. That'd be cool if we could get him on one day, just for.
I would
15,
love to
20
have
minutes.
Shannon on here, man. That
That'd
would
be
be
cool.
awesome. Oh God. Yeah, Philip, you got to tell us which one of us is Shannon Sharp before we end this show. I don't know, man. I think Jerick. They brought him back for a reason, and it wasn't just because he was a great blocker. The guy caught 9 receiving touchdowns last year?
Yeah, in a row.
in a row.
Games in a row. 9 games in a row.
9 games in a row. He is very intelligent, selfless. He keeps himself in great condition now. He's done, I mean, since 2020, he hasn't been injured. If anybody knows that, since he signed with the Chiefs, he has not been injured. So, I mean, just saying, I don't know if he'll, man, that was just, man. I mean, you got my blood pressure up, dude. And it's already up. I mean, it's boiling right now, man. That's like saying Kelsey's. If you say Kelsey's going down, man.
I'm not going to limit, my takes just because I know it's going to upset Chiefs fans. So,
well, I don't blame you.
He said JP is Shannon Sharp. JP is the homer. JP is the homer. That's fair. God. It doesn't matter how good they are. JP's like, he's went through a lot and a lot of adversity. He's going to win.
That's right. That's right. Hey, man, you got to have faith in these guys to some degree. I mean, these are the guys that got us there last year.
Well, that's right.
I know he's a year older, but remember, Joe, he didn't play for 3 years, so really his body's 3 years younger.
Full year. Yeah, he didn't get to play like a full year, the full 3 years or something like that. So,
I mean, the dude's like, it's kind of like how you look at how I looked at Josh Gordon, except Josh Gordon just gave up. But Josh Gordon was 30 playing in a 27-year-old body. There's a lot of guys out there that are older but play younger.
Yeah, who said he wasn't going to be very good? I don't know who. I don't remember which one of us out of the 3 of us.
Who said that?
Oh my gosh!
Here we go. Josh Gordon one. It's so crazy.
All right, we might need to end the show. Quinn's getting a little full of himself tonight.
Yeah, he really is. I mean, his head's filling up the screen right now.
Quentin did say that what are you 37-10 now or something?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, hey, I just want to say a very specific NFL Network person agreed with me on my Ross take. So,
oh man, well,
we're never going to live that one down.
Exactly.
I told Adam too. I said you're gonna make us pay for that, and he did. But we're gonna have a player on. He was supposed to come on tonight, but he got tied up. I think I'm pretty sure positive he's coming on next Tuesday, and we'll get his take on all of this. Joe, Father Time does look. I agree with you, but think about Adrian Peterson. Played until he was 37. Deshaun Jackson, 36, 37. A lot of guys that are in skill positions play a long time. Tony Gonzalez, 37. So, age is just a number unless you're beat to death. So, and I don't think he's beat to death. Oh, look. He said, oh boy, I'm never going to leave that down.
No, I'm not going to live that down, as if you would.
I'll give a shirt that said Adam said I was right.
Adam said I was
my God.
Right. Yeah.
Oh man, that would be wear that around Kansas.
That
City.
would go behind me. Are you?
Yeah.
I wouldn't wear it. That shirt would be in a frame. That's what would happen.
You go around Kansas City wearing that one and see how that goes. I mean, we may have loosened up some of the minds of Kansas City fans that really hated his guts for really. I mean, he pissed me off at the beginning, but God, he was such a nice guy. It was hard to be mean to him. I mean, it's not like if Skip came on the show, I wouldn't let off.
I would veto that. That's what would happen.
Oh, dude, I would not let. Oh, I would let him on. You know what?
You're allowed because I got some questions about your takes over the years. And no, I would no. This is an open forum. Okay, we'd allow it to come. Now, we probably wouldn't, but the invitation's out there.
Oh, Skip would never come on a Kansas City show. No, never. No, he's been too critical. He would never do it. He gets enough flack from Shannon, and we would Shannon the hell out of him. So, I mean, it would just be him being on his show, but not on his show. So, Joe said I wouldn't watch it. Joe, did you go back and watch the show with Adam Rank by any chance? I don't know if you were on there or not. I can't remember.
I don't think he was.
Yeah, go back and watch the show with Adam Rank. I know everybody hated him, but go back and listen to what he said. The man actually owned up to his mistakes. He actually said it. Mistakes were made. And He's a good dude.
And
He
he can
really
give
is a
fantasy
good guy.
football advice.
Yeah, and he can give you some. If you go back and watch it, Joe, it's a good show. Adam's a good dude. So, with that being said, I don't know what else we got for tonight. This was fun. Me and Quentin doing our thing. The Skip and Shannon thing. Caleb being the moderator because he's good at that stuff. Caleb's just the guy that keeps us under control, and then he gets on a rant tangent.
got
We got to
you.
keep him under control, so it's always fun. But anyway, we'll see where D Hop ends up, and we'll see which one of us was right. That being said, I'll talk to you guys again on Thursday, and hopefully we'll have an answer to that burning question: where is D Hop gonna end up? Because that seems to be the question of the year right now: is where D Hop is going to end up. We'll let you know on Thursday, hopefully. Peace out, everybody.